All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dowell. A question comes to me and asks me, basically, Pastor Dowell, what do you really truly think is the major problem in the world today concerning people and relationships? Well, I'll give you the answer, but whether you're going to listen to it and hear it or not is another story. I'll tell you exactly what I think the problem is. There's a few of them. Pride, the inability to be able to shut down what you have going on in your mind and really truly listen to the communication of what other people are saying or trying to say in order to come to a conclusion or some type of closure. And also one of the biggest troubles and biggest problems is that people today have a very rough, tough time admitting that they are wrong. And of course, this is a very serious character flaw. There's been quite a few times I've been wrong on things, as a man in life, as a preacher, as a teacher. But someone who's going to exhibit great character, they have the ability to admit that for the sake of the team, be it the church, the family, the home, friendship. And when you have the ability to admit that you're wrong when you're wrong, and that's, of course, that's one of the toughest things for people to do in this world that we live in now, is to admit that they have come to the place where they can actually admit that I'm wrong about something, because we all vehemently fight for the position that we uphold because of a belief system. But if you cannot exercise the art of hearing, meaning, because a lot of times people, they get so involved and so engaged in argument that they even forget the reason why they're there in the first place. And of course, when you have two people arguing, the problem is that nobody is really truly listening to each other anymore. It's just a bunch of words going out there. And just like today, the majority of women today, they would rather dissolve their marriages and relationships than to admit that they're wrong. They just simply not going to do it, because a woman has no power on her own. Kind of like police officers, they have no power on their own. It's the state that backs them up. And it's the same entity that backs up the woman. It's the state. And they will lose. And the one thing I learned about men is that once a man discovers that he's a man, he's not going back to being eviscerated, emasculated, or anything other than that. He's going to push forward and go forward. And when you can admit that you're wrong, and then you have facts, not opinions, not assertions or assumptions, but literal facts. There's quite a few things I've been wrong on, and I know what it feels like to be wrong. It's a hurtful feeling, because the truth is you don't want to be wrong, but there's a time when you need to admit that you are, and when you are wrong, then you can go ahead and move forward, and hopefully that the other person or the people involved or the parties involved can understand your heart at that particular time. But you must come to facts. You can't come to my opinion is more powerful than your facts. You can't come to the conclusion of, well, I'm not going to hear you because you're not hearing me. If you take that type of position and posture, nobody is going to hear. And of course, then when a person is wrong, and you want to try to gain that person, this is the cancer of all relations right here. Is that no matter what you say, I don't want to hear. I don't even want to hear it. I don't care if you have facts stacked up this high. I don't even want to hear it because you said it. When you get to that particular point right there, it's time to just dissolve that relationship, be it friend, family, or whatever it is, church, and then just move on. Because when someone shuts their ears and they close their eyes and they don't want to see, and they don't have the ability to sit down and really listen to what someone says, there's no need in going forward. All of us, we vehemently put forth our opinions and our assertions. And I've learned over the years that now if somebody's really pushing back really hard, let me stop for a second. This is what I usually do. Let me stop for a second and really, truly listen to what this other person is trying to say. So I will stop and I will listen. And I do a lot of that. I do that very well. I listen very closely. Okay? And then I would ask in return of the other person, I said, okay, I heard what you said. And this is another way to assess this situation. Here are your strong points, and here's what I heard and believe to be true. But here is the part that I disagree with. Maybe you can help me on these disagreements right here so that we can come to an agreement. Because, and then, I mean, communication is exchange of flow of information from one person to another. And when that breaks down, everything breaks down. But the inability to really truly listen to the other person's pain and the intent, it will destroy everything. I mean, the Bible, it says like this: a wise woman will build her house, but a foolish woman will pluck it down with her hands. And so we're realizing the time we're living in, there's a lot of foolish people today, male and female. But exercise the art of hearing. Get out of yourself. Listen to the other person's pain, be it perceived or not. I mean, if it's real or not. Think about it for a second. I mean, don't you want somebody to hear you just as much as you want to be heard? Shouldn't you afford them the same opportunity to listen to them as well, with the same intentiveness as if you would want somebody to hear you? That is the crutch of everything today, is that there's a lot of communicating, but there's the information is going back and forth, but it's hitting brick walls because it's not sinking in, it's not going in. And some people just love to argue. Look at social media. Look, I can do a video giving nothing but help to people, and you'll watch some people come in contentious. Just that's all they have to do in life is just to argue. I realize that they're trolls, all right? So what do? I usually just ban them, block them, go on. People, they put in other plugs to other people's website. I usually just, if they put a plug in, I just ban them, block them, go on, because they didn't ask permission. Because it's my channel. Now, it's not censorship because I'm not a public news media. I'm not getting paid for this. Are you following me? Now, there are people that I get advertising from contributing, but anyway, don't let me digress. Anyway, hearing. We must exercise the art of hearing, especially when someone is so objectively disagreeable and so passionate in their disagreement. If you can ever get those people to calm down for a moment and afford you the respect and the honor to listen to you as you would them, then you can go places. But until then, race relations are always are going to be destroyed. And that's the truth, and that's the true straight way. Have a good day.